Hello and welcome to another episode of English Transformation. My name is Paul, and today we're going to be looking at the top 10 words for the last decade. So let's have a look. For 2010, the top word was app. Now, this comes from application, and it was, I guess, made famous because of the App Store on iOS devices, Apple's App Store, not because of Apple, but because of application. And I guess you can get it on Android and Google Play and these sorts of things, but that's what it is. And it's not, as some students, most students say, APP. Oh, do you know of any good English learning APPs? No, I don't. But I do know some good English learning apps. So 2010, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, depending on your maths, app was the word of the year. For 2011, the word of the year was occupy. Now, this came from a large group of people, like the 99%, the group of people that don't earn lots of money, opposite to the 1%, like me, possibly like you. And they were disheartened and they didn't like what was happening in Wall Street in America, where the stock market is and all the money is made. So they went with tents and they camped in the streets overnight and for many weeks, apparently. And that was called Occupy Wall Street. Really, it just means to be in the one place at that time. And occupy really in this sense means to protest. It was a quiet protest, generally quiet protest, and people just stayed in that area to piss people off and to try and affect change. I guess it didn't really work. Number 12 is hashtag. This has become very, very popular because of Twitter and Instagram. Hashtag, I suppose. Whenever anybody wants to draw attention to something, they usually put a hashtag before it. And now it's really used to draw attention to it anywhere, not only on Twitter or Instagram, just in our daily conversations. 2013's word is one that my grammar Nazi self probably doesn't really like, but it's one of the funniest. And that is because. Now, why is this something that I don't like? I kind of like it. Generally, usually, actually, really, we should use because as a subordinating conjunction to give reason. So, why are you filming this YouTube video? Well, I'm doing that because I want to help my students, like you. So it goes before a subject and a verb, right? But in 2013, or possibly before, Americans, I'm going to blame, started using it as an adjective. So just because and a noun. So they shortened the actual sentence. And the example I have here is from Urban Dictionary. And it says, why'd you go to her party if you don't like her? And the answer is, because cake. Now, why should you not use because in this way, even though it's the word of the year 2013? The answer is, because grammar. Terrible. Anyway, 2014 was a little bit more serious. The word of the year was actually a hashtag, and it's hashtag Black Lives Matter. Now, this is serious. Oftentimes I am serious and other times I'm not, but now is the time to be. All lives matter, of course, but that's very easy for me to say because I'm basically middle-aged, sadly, but I'm a white man. Probably one of the luckiest types of people in the world. I'm not a minority. And really, white men get a lot of privilege. So it's just luck of the draw, I guess. But minorities do have it very bad most of the time. And it seems to be in America that African Americans or people with black skin have a very, very tough time. You can see it on the news all the time that white policemen have killed black people. And this is not cool anywhere. And so Black Lives Matter was the hashtag that rose to become the word of the year in 2014. And it's very, very true. Black lives do matter, but so do white lives and Asian lives, and Hispanic lives, whatever. It doesn't matter where you're from. Lives just matter. Just be cool to everybody. 2015. Now, there were two here there were lots, hundreds and hundreds of words. Apparently, 4,000 words are added to the lexicon, to our language every year. That would be a long video. But I got them from different places. And there are two here. I'm going to quickly do 2015 because one of them, because it's in 2019 as well. And the first one I saw was they. I'm going to skip past that and get to that in 4 years' time. So 2015 was emoji. You know, the little smiley faces, the little images that we use to express what we want to say instead of expressing what we want to say. So emoji was the word of the year in 2015. Also a terrible movie, I believe, a few years later. 2016, I quite like this one. Dumpster fire. Now, dumpster fire is used to describe something that is just getting really bad and getting even worse. I'm going to use my soccer team as an example. Last season, they were okay. They got to the final of the Champions League, but within 2 minutes, they were losing 1-0, 1-0. And from then on, it seems that their season just got worse and worse. The start of the season, this season, they were losing, and you could say that their season was a dumpster fire or a train wreck. But train wreck was not the word of the year in 2016. So dumpster fire, something that is bad and just getting worse. Hopefully this video is not a dumpster fire. The word of the year for 2017 was fake news. Probably alternative facts, but we'll go with fake news. This has come about because of generally political parties spreading news online to get ideas pushed through Parliament or to get people to vote for them and not other people. And it's just news put out there that isn't true. And how do we know? You don't really know until after the event. The word of the year for 2018 was tender age shelter. Now, this is pretty horrible. Again, the Trump administration, the Trump government, they set up camps for immigrants, illegal immigrants into the country. And there were lots of young children, really, really young. We use tender to describe a young age. A tender age is young. And they were taking children from their families and housing them in these tender age shelters, because a tender age shelter is a much nicer way of saying prison camp or immigrant camp or we're stealing children from their parents. That's just not cool. So, not a nice one. Not quite as nice as emoji from 2015. And 2019's word of the year is they. Equally as annoying as because plus a noun. I probably would use it if people wanted me to, but I'd rather not. They has been used or is being used by people who identify as non-binary. So we have two genders. I'm sorry, but we do. Male and female, right? I understand that people want to identify as something else, transgender, transsexual, whatever you want to call it, men who want to be women and women who want to be men. Fantastic. Don't mind at all. Unless you are a man fighting in women's sport as a transgender woman. That's not cool. Anyway, these men and women don't want to be called he or she. They want to be called they. Okay, I'll call you they. But it means plural. We do use they when we talk about people, when we don't know if it's a man or a lady. So this person, this individual could get a job if they tried harder. This person could get a job if they tried harder. Maybe that is a good example. But to actually call one person they sounds very strange to me, but if it makes people happy, then I would call them they. But it's very, very strange. The world is strange and getting much stranger. So that was the list of the decade's top words. If you'd like to see a much longer video with tons and tons of words, digital words, useless words, best words, hashtags from the decade, from the years, then let me know and I'll make that. There's some hilarious ones. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like if you liked it. Sub if you loved it. Thank you very much, Dave Lee. I really like that. If you don't know who Dave Lee is, somewhere in the description below, go and find Dave 2D. Fantastic.